Hello, everyone. This is Monsef Afker, and thank you so much for joining us in this new call of Your Divine Uniqueness. Thank you for your presence and for sharing with us this time and also your beautiful energy. So thank you for that. Whether you are now either watching or listening on the live call, or if you will be listening or watching the replay. And also very, very excited and very happy that Brad Yates is back on the show. He joined us a few years ago, and it was very, very special call, very powerful experience that we had with him. Also, we did some tapping, and it was really, really powerful. I really loved it, and also we received great feedback from the audience who joined us back then. And also very happy that he's back. And today it will be about tapping into your divine uniqueness and how we can clear those fears and blocks that stop us from really embodying our true self, our true power and our light and our awesomeness. So yeah, it will be very powerful. We'll be doing some tapping as well today. And for those of you who are new to Brad, he is a best-selling author, master teacher on the emotional freedom technique, EFT. And also we'll have a Q&A later on the call where you can ask your questions. So if you are on Zoom, you can raise your hand by pressing reactions, then raise hand. If you are on the phone, you can raise your hand by pressing *9. And also you can type your questions on the chat boxes on Zoom or on YouTube. And so that's Brad. Welcome back to the show. Happy to have you with us today.
Thank you, Monsef. I'm very happy to be back with you. Very excited to share this work with folks to help them experience more of their divine awesomeness.
Yeah, wonderful. And I think maybe most of our audience know about EFT, but would you like maybe to share maybe little bits about that and also about your work in general?
Sure, absolutely. So yeah, for anyone who's not familiar with EFT, emotional freedom techniques, or tapping, we call it that obviously because we are tapping with our fingertips on our face and our torso, and it's based on acupuncture. So for thousands of years in Chinese medicine, they've said there's a flow of energy through the body along pathways called meridians. When the energy is flowing naturally, we experience our natural state of health and well-being, physically and emotionally. And when that energy gets stuck, we don't feel so good. And then we don't think as clearly, we don't make the best choices, and that can have all kinds of unfortunate consequences. So in traditional Chinese medicine, the doctor would stick needles in these key points to stimulate that healthy flow of energy. And we're just going to be tapping to do that. And in terms of this idea of tapping into our divine uniqueness, what happens is we have a lot of programming about not being special, not being worthy, not being deserving, not being awesome from people who didn't know any better. And so we carry that with us. And then when we start to entertain the idea that, hey, you know what? I might actually be pretty fantastic. I might actually be a gift to this world. I might have something to offer that's unique and special and different from everybody else. And that old programming says, oh, who are you kidding? You're not that. And we have that as a stress response. We may not be consciously aware of it, but at an unconscious level, there's something that says, yeah, don't do that. And so it's like having your comfort zone, it has an electric fence around it. And if we start to get towards the edge of the electric fence and we touch it, there's a shock. So over time, we learn to not go any further than that because we have a stress response knowing that's going to be dangerous. Now, if we have something to reduce stress, like this, then we can start looking at and going to the edge of our comfort zone, and we can actually touch that electric fence and reduce the impact. It's like, oh, I can cut the wires to this, and now I can tear down this electric fence, and I can expand my comfort zone. I can expand my awareness of how freaking awesome I really am, which is beneficial for us, but it's beneficial for the world too. You know, that's why I do this work. It's not just so that you get to feel good. It's that you get to feel good while sharing your unique gifts and talents with the world. That's why I sometimes say that my job is I'm a gift unwrapper. And that's what we're here to do, is unwrap more of the gift that you are and share that with the world.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And yeah, as you mentioned, so, like sometimes when we approach an aspect, like when we have doubts about our gifts, also at the same time, it brings some other aspects. For example, low self-esteem, or maybe we have a belief from our culture or maybe family that we inherited, and we believe that's maybe it's something wrong or something like that. So how do you approach that with EFT? Do we just tap into the original points, like doubting our gifts, or do we need like to touch on all these aspects related to that?
Well, and when we're doing EFT, the basic original model is very simple, where we identify whatever's bothering you. Like, I'm really nervous about this meeting I have later today. And we'd rate that on a scale of 0 to 10. It's like, oh, I'm pretty nervous. It's like an 8. And I'd look for where the physical component is. So I may have a knot in my stomach. So then I would just tap and say, even though I'm nervous about this meeting, or I could address the physical aspect, even though I have this knot in my stomach, I choose to love and accept myself. Say that 3 times. Then we go through each of these points. This nervousness about the meeting, or this knot in my stomach, whatever it might be. And we just repeat that on each of the points. This nervousness, this nervousness, this nervousness, this nervousness, this nervousness, this nervousness, this nervousness. And we take a deep breath and then check again. And it's like, okay, well, it went from an 8 down to a 3. So, or it may go, sometimes it'll go from an 8 to a 0 like that. Sometimes it'll go from an 8 to a 7.75. It's like, all right, I'll do another round. And you don't want to worry about the wording. So the wording is if you've seen my videos, it's a very intuitive process for me. And I'd say all kinds of crazy things. And I just whatever comes through me. But you don't have to be clever with the words. You can just say, even though I still have some nervousness, this remaining nervousness, and keep going through. Then what often happens is it's like peeling the layers of the onion. So we start to get other ideas. So these other aspects that you mentioned, it may be different memories of things of, oh, I remember this time that my 3rd grade teacher said, you're stupid, or something, or, one of my parents said, you'll never amount to anything, or whatever it is. And at a young age, we're impressionable, and we take that on and say, oh, well, that's who I am. And so when we go out in life and we think, oh, here's a great opportunity. Oh, but remember when you were told you'll never amount to anything? So obviously I can't do that. So I don't go to that meeting. Or I feel so nervous that I show up and I can't speak clearly. And they think, wow, we can't hire this person. So whatever it might be. And we sabotage our success. And I always like to say that self-sabotage is simply misguided self-love. We're trying to protect ourselves. If I have been told by a parent that I'll never amount to anything, it's not safe for me to amount to anything. That would be a betrayal of my family. It would get me in trouble with my culture. It would get me in trouble with all kinds of different things. So we don't have to wait until we know what all the aspects are before we start tapping. To me, I'd rather just start with wherever we're at. And, some people say you can't do global tapping. But if you start with global tapping, you'll peel the layers of the onion and you'll start to get aware of what those aspects are. And you may just clear them without even knowing. There are times where we might not know specifically. So if you imagine you have a garbage can in your kitchen, and at the end of the week, you tie up the bag and you take it out and you throw it in the garbage. Now, once you've thrown that out in the garbage, your kitchen smells better. That stuff is all gone. You don't have to open the bag up and remember everything that's in there and go, oh, here's the milk carton that I finished yesterday. Oh, there's the box from that food item I had, the beginning of the week. We don't have to identify everything. We take it out, it's gone, and we go back into the kitchen. The kitchen smells great. It's like, okay, I know that it's cleared. So if we are now thinking about this meeting that we have later, and I can say, I feel no nervousness. I'm actually excited. I'm really looking forward to this opportunity. I, even though I may not have gone back and remembered every time in my life that contributed to the nervousness, that's okay. So it's whatever works. I'll often tap and I'll say, I'm allowing myself to be aware of anything I need to know. If there's a memory I need to know, I'm allowing myself to be aware of it, or I'm just releasing. So it's either way is great. It's great if we find the aspects, excellent, but it's not. We don't need to worry about that if we can feel that we're making movement.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And also, as you were talking about that, and when you did the tapping about nervousness, like, is it better to start with that, to release the stress or the nervousness first before start doing tapping on other aspects? Especially like if we take an example when we want to manifest something in our life and it takes a long time, then there is this stress about that. And we may think that we will tap to accelerate things, or maybe we will tap to just trust the process and let go. So do you suggest that we tap for being more calm, and then intuitively we will know the next step for us?
Yeah, especially when we're doing manifestation processes, what often happens in terms of law of attraction manifestation is we're thinking about what we want, but we're only aware of our conscious thoughts about it. I may be imagining this dream house, and consciously I say, yes, that would be so awesome. But our conscious mind is like 5 to 10% of our mind. The other 90 to 95% might be saying, yeah, everybody in your family is going to want to come visit. The upkeep on that house is going to be terrible. The property taxes, it will be so much. And so there's all of this negative feeling towards it. And so we're sitting there thinking about the house, thinking I'm manifesting that house, but we're really blocking it. So yeah, we want to get as clear as possible. I was listening to another speaker talking about manifestation just last week, and he was saying, yeah, don't go into your manifestation visualization trying to make yourself feel better. Calm down first. And unfortunately, he didn't give any tools for how to calm down. And I just wanted to get into the chat room and say, yeah, tap. I choose to be in the best place for manifestation, and I choose to love and accept myself. And allow yourself to calm down and get into, as calm and peaceful a place as possible, because we want to be in a very positive vibration as we allow ourselves to think about those things that we want to experience more of in our lives.
Yeah, absolutely. And also this can be helpful for meditation as well. Because many times we try to meditate, but we just can't feel calm. It just our mind doesn't stop. I heard, like, I don't remember, maybe also he was starting by dancing, but also, like you said, tapping first and then go into visualization or meditation. It can make the experience much more powerful.
Yeah, we want to address and process that stuff that might get in the way. I actually have a video on meditation, about tapping to allow yourself to be more calm and clear out that stuff, because it's unless you've been meditating for decades and are a master meditator, to be able to just go into that meditative state with some uncomfortable energy, it can be a little more challenging.
Yeah, and also for someone who is just starting out with EFT, does it have something similar like meditation? For example, in the beginning, we have in general, it's very special experience, and after that we expect that we will have the same afterward, and we try to force that. Does something similar happen with EFT?
It can, especially if someone experiences it for the first time when they're in a heightened emotional state, and the tapping takes them down, from an 8 of anxiety down to a 0 or a 1. And it's like, wow, that's powerful. And so then they might be tapping at another time where they're not in a heightened state. And so there's not that much to clear. And so the difference may not be as noticeable. it's always beneficial. There's a growing body of scientific research being done on tapping, and we can see all kinds of physiological markers, immune system being boosted, depression being lowered, uh, all kinds of benefits. So when we're tapping, even if we're not consciously, tangibly aware of the benefits, it's always benefiting. So yeah, now some people, the first time they experience tapping, they go, yeah, I don't notice anything. And then they think, well, it doesn't do anything. And yet that same person might take vitamins on a daily basis. And I would challenge that person, have you ever taken a vitamin and went, yes, oh, I totally feel the difference now? No, but you do it on a regular basis. Same with tapping. The difference is that sometimes with tapping, we do notice the difference, sometimes right away, whether it's just allowing ourselves to feel calmer, or sometimes we might feel more energized because we might be blocking ourselves from feeling excited about some opportunity because we're trying to minimize the danger, we're trying to minimize the risk. And it's like, yeah, maybe if I can just lower my energy, I'll avoid this. And as we tap, we clear that and go, all right, now I'm really excited about this. So there's all kinds of different shifts that can happen. But yeah, so it depends on what the early experiences are for that person. And because we are aware that sometimes the shifts happen so profoundly, there might be that expectation that it's always going to be that way. And yeah, it's not, because we're not always in a place where there's something to shift that much, but it is always beneficial. And over time, things just get better and better.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And there are some changes that are very subtle, and like you said, we may not feel anything in some moments, but many times we can notice that in our daily life. Like at some point, we just feel that something changed, like very quickly, instantly. But when we look further and deeper into that, it's more like some subtle changes that happen one after the other. So even if we don't feel anything now, like it's something that is supporting a shift that we can feel in the future. Yeah.
Yeah, it
Beautiful.
just up levels you. It's like exercise. If you do 5 sit-ups, you don't sit there and say, well, I don't have a 6-pack right now. Why? Obviously that didn't work. You're going to have to do those sit-ups every day over a period of time. But if you do that consistently, your stomach muscles, your core muscles are going to be stronger, and that has all kinds of benefits for us, including increasing our back strength and limiting back pain and things like that. So there are all kinds of things that if we do them, even though we don't notice the difference from before and after the practice, however many minutes it took, consistently doing that is going to lead to all kinds of benefit. I mean, for me, my life is so, I just look at my life now compared to when I started 20 years ago. And, most of the time that I'm tapping, it's not because there's something going on that's like, oh, I'm really upset and I need to clear that. I tap every morning. I recommend it as a daily practice, just like brushing your teeth. Unless we've been eating Oreo cookies, brushing our teeth, we might not notice the difference from before and after. We don't want to wait to brush our teeth until there's green stuff growing between our teeth. So we do it on a daily basis, whether we think we need it or not. Bathing, washing our hands, things like that. But if you don't do it for a while, there are consequences. So clearing stress from the body on a regular basis is so beneficial, because we always have these ambient levels of stress, especially because most of us are walking around with a cell phone that is constantly giving us things to be stressed out about. So you want to have a practice of clearing stress on a daily basis, even though you might not notice, oh yeah, that I definitely needed that. Just clearing that out and just allowing yourself to be at your best. And you will be more aware of your awesomeness, your divine uniqueness on a regular basis, if you are clearing out the stuff that limits your awareness of that on a regular basis.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that example, because in our daily life. Like in general, like for us humans, it's easier for us to try to maybe here we can use now the word heal something until there is an issue, instead of having the practice before that and make it something like that we experience on the daily basis. And then the results, it will be different because we'll be more frequently in those high frequencies, high vibrations, instead of waiting for those moments where we feel at low vibrations.
Right. Well, it's like eating a healthy diet. We don't want to wait until the doctor says, your health is terrible, you need to change your diet. It's like, no, I want to eat on in a healthy way on a regular basis so that I just feel better and better. And then I never have to have that uncomfortable conversation with my doctor. I like going to the doctor and having them say, wow, everything looks great.
Right. And do you have any advice to have this, to build this practice? Because like when there is an issue, what makes us to go through tapping or other modalities is these strong emotions that we have. But when we don't have those emotions, what is your advice for us to, so we can practice that daily?
Yeah, I encourage folks to make a daily practice of it. So, it's the first thing I do in the morning. I get up and I do some tapping. And so, a lot of people look at EFT as, well, it's just something you do when you're feeling upset. Well, you could do it, but you can use it for benefits. That's like saying, only brushing your teeth is only when there's a lot of junk on your teeth. No, it's we want to increase our health, like exercise. Oh, exercise is only when the doctor tells you you need to exercise. We want to do these healthy practices. So I just get up and I may tap while saying affirmations. I may say prayers. So it's not a matter of, it's not like I wake up in the morning in a bad mood every day and go, another day, I better do some tapping, even though I feel like crap again. So I just want to feel better and better. And I may not say anything. Sometimes I'll just tap absentmindedly at different times. Like, I may feel fine. I may feel great. It's like, I wonder if I can feel even better. And I just want to clear whatever might be there. So if you have it as part of your morning routine, that's great. And then if there are other times where stress happens, so, it's like, okay, I tap in the morning just to improve my overall well-being. And then maybe during the day, if I have an uncomfortable conversation with someone, or I read about something in the news that bothers me, then I might do some tapping at that time too. So I can use it at different times, and not just, well, I already tapped in the morning as part of my morning practice, so I just can't use it now to deal with the stress. Use as needed and do it as part of your morning routine. Yeah. Or evening routine before bed. A lot of people tell me they do it just before going to bed to help them decompress from the day and process things and then relax. They get a good night's sleep.
Yeah, absolutely. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Brad. And do you feel maybe got to do a tap-in now with the group?
I think that would be awesome.
Great.
So, and I already showed folks the points. So, what? Well, let's do some tapping into an enhanced experience of our own awesomeness. How does that sound?
Yeah, sounds wonderful. Yeah.
All right. So everyone, go ahead and close your eyes. Take a deep breath in and hold it. And let it go. Now just breathing comfortably with your eyes closed. Allow yourself to be present. Allowing yourself to be right here, right now, as present as possible, so as to receive maximum benefit from this process. And just following your breath through your body, just allow yourself to be aware of what's going on in there. Noticing what you're feeling physically and what you're feeling emotionally. And just imagine a full-length mirror. And look at yourself in the mirror and acknowledge your divine uniqueness. Acknowledge your awesomeness. Now maybe look at yourself in the mirror and say, you are awesome. And just let that rattle around inside and notice on a scale of 0 to 10 how true that feels. And do not judge yourself harshly if the number is lower than a 10. Just allow yourself to be aware of that. That's just old programming, old misunderstandings telling you that you're something less than awesome. And if you're already at a 10, what stops you from going all the way up to an 11? Again, no judgment here, just allowing yourself to be aware of, oh, there's some part of me that's limiting my awareness of my awesomeness, my magnificence, my divine uniqueness. What a gift I am to the world. Notice what you feel in your body, where you might feel some tension, some resistance, some fear. What are you afraid might happen if you acknowledge your divine uniqueness? Notice what thoughts, beliefs, and memories might come up as to why you couldn't or shouldn't think of yourself as awesome. Who might have told you something else? Or maybe you interpreted that from some event in your life. Just allowing yourself to be aware of where those doubts about your awesomeness might come from. Notice where you feel that in your body, and on a scale of 0 to 10, how strong that might be. So in this instance, 10 being the strongest resistance, the most discomfort in terms of acknowledging your awesomeness. Noticing how strong it is, where in your body it is. Take a deep breath. Open your eyes and just tap where I tap and repeat back what I say, please. Even though I might have some doubts about my awesomeness, I choose to love and accept myself anyway. Even though I might have some doubts about my awesomeness, I choose to love and honor myself anyway. Even though I might have some doubts about my awesomeness, parts of me might be saying, you're not that great. You're nothing special. And even though I might have some doubts about my awesomeness, I choose to deeply and completely love, honor, and accept myself. And maybe anyone else who has contributed to these doubts. Because I choose to be that free. All these doubts about my awesomeness. All these doubts about my awesomeness. All this fear that I'm not that special. All this resistance to thinking I'm awesome. I might even feel shame about who I am. I'm far from awesome. That's what my programming tells me. Maybe I've had people tell me this, telling me that I'm not good enough, telling me that I'm not worthy. Or maybe that was my interpretation. Maybe I tried to do something and I didn't succeed the way I wanted to. And part of me decided, This must mean I'm not that great. And I'm processing that. Whether this idea that I'm not good enough came from somebody else or from my own interpretation. I'm allowing myself to process that. And I'm allowing myself to release it. Because it's a misunderstanding. Either my misunderstanding or someone else's. I am absolutely awesome. I am absolutely unique and special. How could I not be? I come from source. I'm a magnificent child of the universe. A magnificent child of the divine. How could I not be awesome? And if I insist that I'm not awesome, I'm kind of dishonoring the divine. I choose to knock that off. I choose to say to source, you done well. You did well. You did well creating me. And I'm clearing my doubts about that. Part of me might be arguing. There's so much evidence from the past. And even in my current circumstances, suggesting that I'm not awesome. But I am not defined by my past. I am not defined by my current circumstances. But my current circumstances have been created by how I've been defining myself. So if I defined myself as awesome, that would really improve my circumstances. So I'm clearing the doubts about being awesome. And maybe I'm afraid to do so. Part of me knows that I'm awesome. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here tapping on my face right now. I showed up to be reminded of the truth. And part of me might be afraid of that. Because that can lead to changes. What am I afraid might happen when I really acknowledge how awesome I am? All this fear that I couldn't handle that. Maybe it will make my friends and family uncomfortable. But if they were uncomfortable with that, it would only be because they doubted their awesomeness. So do I really want to limit my awesomeness so that they can feel more comfortable doubting their awesomeness? That's not noble. I want them to embrace their awesomeness. I want them to acknowledge their divine uniqueness. Much easier to help them if I've done it myself. I can't doubt my awesomeness, but tell them they've got it. I choose to be a role model. I choose to lead the way. So acknowledging my awesomeness is a win-win situation for everybody. So I'm allowing myself to acknowledge my awesomeness in body, mind, and spirit. Take a deep breath. Let it go. And with your eyes closed, just feeling what goes on inside your body. Imagine that full-length mirror. Look at yourself and say, you are awesome. And hopefully the truth of that has gone up and the resistance to that has gone down. Just notice what that feels like. And allow yourself to be aware of any aspects that come up, any old memories or beliefs that come up. Yeah, but, and you can then tap more specifically on those to keep clearing that stuff out and recognize the truth that, of course, you're awesome. There are so many ways when we really look at who we are as human beings, just that, and go ahead, and you might even tap right now, just tapping the collarbone point, as I mentioned. If you consider the fact that right now, your mind is processing the vibration of the sound, taking that in and hearing words and making sense of that, taking in the visuals, while at the same time breathing in oxygen and processing that, your heart flowing oxygen in different parts of your body. I mean, all of the stuff that is going on inside your body and mind right now is so freaking awesome. To doubt your awesomeness is it's just ignoring the facts. So as the more we just see, oh yeah, I mean, I'm totally awesome, then we share that with the world. We feel better. We send that positive energy out there, and all kinds of wonderful things happen.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Brad. For me, I went from 7 to 10, and in the
Awesome.
beginning, it was like some feeling of being calm. That's I had, and after that, it was like really more excitement as you were going through the process. And also, I really love that you mentioned in the end of the process it's a win-win situation for us and others around us, because that's very important. Like being a role model instead of maybe settling down or giving up on our truth, or just because we are afraid of not being understood or maybe rejected or hurting others. So that point, it was very, very important.
Yeah,
Thank
we
you.
have people are this fear that people will be jealous, and we play small. And to me, it's like, imagine standing out on the beach and watching a beautiful sunset over the ocean, and you have friends and family with you, and they've got their back to the water, and they're all like, "Oh, look at you enjoying the view. You know, you think you're better than us or whatever." And so we're so prone to say, I'm sorry, and turn around and turn our back to the water. And now we're all depriving ourselves. Like, no, it's like, yeah, I am enjoying the view. Turn your butt around and take the view in there too, because it's there for you also. Because it's not a conceited thing. It's not, I'm awesomer than other people. I'm not better than people. It's like, no, I am part of the divine awesomeness. It's in you too. I want you to experience this. And if I limit myself, if I doubt myself so that you feel more comfortable, and we've been taught to think that that's noble, to play small for the sake of others, like, there's nothing noble about making someone else feel more comfortable by depriving themselves of what's possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. And Cherry Short, love this. Thank you so much. And Haley, I went 7 to 10 too. Beautiful process. And also Mary Short, humbled and honored. Yeah, thank you, everyone. And let's see. Yeah, in a little bit, we will start taking questions. So again, if you are on Zoom, you can raise your hand by pressing reactions, then raise hand. Also, if you are on the phone, you can raise your hand by pressing *9, and you can type your question also on Zoom chat box and also on YouTube. And before that, Brad, I would love if you can tell us about the free gifts you are offering. It's clear subconscious blocks and chart your course toward a life filled with happiness, abundance, and success in just 5 days. And I will share the link on the chat boxes, both on Zoom and YouTube. And also, there is a free gift button on the live events page and later on the replay page. And also, there will be the link is also on the YouTube video description. So, Brad, I would love if you can tell us about this gift.
Yeah, so it's my Tap into Your Best Self course. So it's a free course, 5 days, and in each day we tap on things like self-forgiveness, self-love, self-esteem, and basically similar to what we just did here, clearing those blocks about why we couldn't or shouldn't feel better about ourselves, and why we shouldn't acknowledge how really great we really are. And again, so it feels better for us and it benefits everyone else. You know, whether they pick up the invitation to then feel better themselves, or it just allows us to share our gifts more, and so we provide more service to the world. There's all kinds of benefits that just feel great.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much, Brad, for offering us this course. So grateful to you. And yeah, everyone, I highly recommend that you sign up and receive this free course. So again, the link is on Zoom chat box and also on YouTube, both on the chat, the live chat, and also on the description. And there is also the free gifts button on the live events page and later on the replay page. And let's see.
Thank you for the kind comments that are in there. And Kay, yeah, as I was saying, I sometimes just tap without saying any words, just thinking, okay, there's likely some ambient stress, even if I'm not aware of any discomfort. I just assume because I live in this world where there is unfortunate news and things like that, and people around in different levels of vibration, I'll just tap sometimes just to be continuously clearing out whatever might be there. So you don't have to talk on every point. The talking is designed to bring up the stuff that might be there. So if I'm working on a particular issue, like this with the in terms of the awesomeness, for me it's just looking at what are the possible reasons that I might be stopping myself. Oh, it may be because someone told me I'm not good enough, or it may be I'm afraid of knowing that I'm good enough because that'll upset other people or make other people uncomfortable. So I want to try to address as many aspects as I can during the process, and as we talk about that, it tends to get us more emotionally engaged and we clear things out. But you can also tap silently, whether you're aware of of a particular thing that's bothering you, or there might be nothing in particular, but just tapping along, it's always just clearing the energy system more and more. So if you imagine like your countertop in your kitchen, you know, there's a lot of dirt on our kitchen countertops that we don't see. There's germs and things. So it's not like we want to wait until we can see that something is spilled. It's good to clean it on a regular basis. And in general, you're not going to clean too much. So there's no harm in looking at your countertop and saying, well, there's nothing spilled there, but it's probably a good idea to wipe it. So it's fine to just go and just be clearing your system without necessarily having a particular intention, other than I just choose to feel better and better.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, like, this can be helpful when, because sometimes we don't know why we feel a certain way. It just happens to us, and something like that can really help us to tap in without words. Yeah, thank you, Brad, and also thank you, Kay, for your question. Tanya, can you please unmute yourself?
Hello, Moncef. Hello, Brad.
Hello.
Hey, Tanya, how are you?
Nice to meet you finally. I've been following you for years. I'm fine, thank you. your tapping on YouTube helped me a lot. And my question is, if I would like to connect better to my guides and like trust my intuition better, what do I tap on? My voices, or that I will hear kind of my guides better? What do you suggest? How do I tap on connecting?
Yeah, and I have I think I have a video on intuition, and to me, where I usually come from is the extent to which we don't have what we say we want tends to be the extent to which we're resisting it. So it's a question of, why might I resist a stronger connection to my guides? Why might I resist feeling more intuitive? What am I afraid might happen? So with your eyes closed, say, it's safe to be more intuitive.
Okay, it's safe to be more intuitive.
And let that rattle around inside. And just feeling what goes on inside your body on a scale of 0 to 10, how safe does it feel to be really intuitive?
5.
There you go, Tanya. That's why you're not more connected to your guides and more. And that's the thing. This is, we're never taught to ask this question. This has been true with all kinds of things. People who will say to me, I've gone to all the money seminars. I've read all the money books. Why don't I have more money? I'll say, close your eyes. Say it's safe to have more money. And they'll say, oh, it's a 2. And I'll say, there you go. Because, So if you had a child and that child was invited to a birthday party and it was at this house and you didn't think, and you thought, okay, I know the people that live in that house. And you said, on a scale of 0 to 10, how safe is it for my child to go to the party? And if you decide it was a 5, would you let your child go to that party?
Of course not.
So it's a question of looking at, why doesn't it feel safe? So, let's do one quick round here.
Yeah.
Even though it doesn't feel safe to be more intuitive.
Even though it doesn't feel safe to be more intuitive.
I choose to love and accept myself.
I choose to love and accept myself.
Even though it doesn't feel safe to be more connected.
Even though it doesn't feel safe to be connected.
I choose to love and honor myself.
I choose to love and honor myself.
Even though it doesn't feel safe to be more intuitive.
Even though it doesn't feel safe to be more intuitive.
Something inside me says.
Something inside me says.
If I had a better connection to my guides.
If I had a better connection with my guides.
I could get myself into all kinds of trouble.
I can get myself into all kinds of troubles.
And even though it doesn't feel safe.
And even though it doesn't feel safe.
I choose to deeply and completely.
I choose to deeply and completely.
Love, honor, and accept myself.
Love, honor, and accept myself.
And maybe anyone else involved.
And maybe everyone else involved.
And hopefully everybody is going along with the tapping with us. All this fear of being more intuitive.
Sorry, you broke.
All this fear of being more intuitive.
I always fear to be more intuitive.
All this fear of being more connected to my guides.
Always feel to be more connected to my guides.
If I had that connection.
If I had that connection.
What am I afraid would happen?
What am I afraid would happen?
Maybe people would think I'm crazy.
Maybe people would think I'm crazy. That's it.
And I need to say, oh no, I don't talk to guides.
And they will have to say, no, I'm not talking to guides.
I don't have intuition.
I don't have intuition.
Those people get locked up.
Those people get locked up.
All this old programming.
All this old programming.
About people who are connected to guides.
About people who are connected to guides.
And why I shouldn't do that.
And why I shouldn't do that.
And why it's not safe.
And why it's not safe.
All this fear of having greater intuition.
All that fear of having greater intuition.
Because I'm already connected to Source.
Because I am already connected to Source.
I am connected to everything.
I'm connected to everything.
I have perfect intuition.
I have perfect intuition.
I'm just afraid of feeling that.
I'm just afraid of feeling that.
I'm afraid of what might happen.
I'm afraid of what might happen.
I'm open to the possibility.
I'm open to the possibility.
I can handle it.
I can handle it.
I choose to feel safe with my intuition.
I choose to feel safe with my intuition.
Clearing my fear of feeling a connection to guides.
I'm clearing my fear of having connection to my guides.
I'm allowing myself to be guided.
Guided.
In body, mind, and spirit.
In body, mind, and spirit.
And take a deep breath. And say, with your eyes closed, say, it's safe to be intuitive.
It's safe to be intuitive.
That was a 5 before. What does that feel like now?
7, 8. Much better.
Excellent.
Cool.
And maybe that's something to do on a daily basis. You know, first thing in the morning, and you could even change it to a positive statement and then say, I choose to feel connected today. I choose to feel intuitive today. And just give yourself more permission.
To trust my intuition. And now as I trust my intuition, apparently I still have fear. Yeah, probably fear of being judged or, people saying that I'm kind of cuckoo in the head with my son thinks. So it is.
There you go. Even though my son thinks I'm cuckoo, he's, and it's like, so believe me, put yourself out on the internet, tapping on your face, and you'll get a few people telling you you're crazy. And I'll say to anybody, you step into my shoes and live my life. I have a pretty awesome life. So if this is crazy, I don't want to be sane.
You're right.
So where are you calling in from, Tanya?
I'm in Britain, but I'm originally from Ukraine.
Excellent. Very cool.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Brad.
My pleasure. Thank you.
It's very helpful.
Yes, you are.
Thank you, Tanya. And also thank you, Brad. Yeah, that was really, really powerful. Jerry, sure, this gets better and better. And also, Kay, she also feedback. Thank you for clarifying about your answer to her. I liked how you changed the maybe I to bring up different emotions. And yeah, so let's see. Yeah, Brad, thank you so much. I'm so grateful to you for everything you shared today, for the process, for the discussion we had. It was really, really inspiring. And also the process, it was really powerful, both the first one we did in group and the one you did with Tanya. So I'm so grateful to you. So thank you.
Oh, my pleasure, Monsef. I'm grateful to you for inviting me back. I'm grateful to everyone who's shown up and is watching this, whether you're watching it live or watching the repeat, and allowing yourself to let things, as Terry said, getting better and better. That's that's the key, is just allowing ourselves to get better and better, which then makes the world a better and better place. So your willingness to spend some time getting better and better does make the world a better and better place. So thank you very much for everyone for participating in that. And again, Monsef, thank you for creating this opportunity for folks to get better and better.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you again, Brad. And also everyone, thank you so much for joining us today, for co-creation with us this really wonderful experience. So thank you for those who asked the questions, for the comments and feedback. And also, again, I highly recommend that you sign up to receive the free course, Tap into Your Best Self. And I just put, again, the link on the Zoom chat box, also on YouTube live chat and YouTube description. And you will find also free gifts button on the live events page and later on the replay page. And yeah, so with that, yeah, thank you, Jill and Hailey, for the comments. So yeah, thank you, everyone. I'm sending you so much love, and I will see you on the next call.